Kevin Plank started Under Armour back in 1995. He was a walk-on player at the University of Maryland. He was captain of special teams. He always says that he had one thing he knew for certain, and that was that the NFL was not going to come calling his name. So from that standpoint, he knew he was going to go into business and wanted to start it. He always hated how the cotton shirt felt underneath his uniform, underneath his pads when he was practicing. In playing, everyone was wearing those long lycra spandex biking shorts underneath their football pads on their legs. And Kevin always said, why don't we have shirts made out of that same tight, stretchy material on your upper body that would keep you cool, light, and dry? You know, it was probably about 1998 when there was literally only a dozen people or so in the company. And Oliver Stone had come to film Any Given Sunday. And they wanted something that was you know, futuristic looking yet authentic to football. The producer found Kevin Plank's name. They looked him up and they bought a product for their players to use in the filming and during the actual scenes. Kevin brought the dozen or so employees at the time and said that ESPN's coming out with a magazine, and we can basically skip a paycheck and pay for this ad in this magazine that would coincide with the launching of Any Given Sunday. And every person agreed to skip a paycheck. They bought the ad. The ad came out that weekend. The movie came out the same weekend. Website sales went through the roof, and that really got us started. 2003, again, the same type of situation where ESPN was launching their first original series called Playmakers. And again, producers came calling to Under Armour saying, hey, everyone in these locker rooms is wearing Under Armour. We want our players to look authentic. Playmakers came out the same weekend that we launched Protect This House, this campaign called Protect This House, starring none other than Big E.
We started this thing, and now we're on top. Everybody's trying to knock us off. It's us versus them.
Big E, an NFL football player that really didn't get the media attention until we, claimed him as Big E, the leader of the Under Armour team.
We must protect this house.
And then pretty soon after that, you'd see fans at games holding up signs saying, "Protect this house." David Letterman did a whole show where he just said nothing but, "We must protect this house."
I watch a lot of football on Sundays, and they keep running this commercial.
We must protect this house.
And that's the way I spend the rest of my Sunday and most of Monday screaming.
We must protect this house.
And
even Oprah Winfrey was on saying, we must protect this house. It became part of American lexicon.
We must protect this house.
The growth of this company has been phenomenal. Starting in 1999 or 98, Kevin Plank had a few shirts in the trunk of his Ford Explorer. And when I met Kevin, I saw the opportunity. Creating good work was our first priority. So we talked about it, and we found out that building a team in-house that lived and breathed the brand every day was probably the right model for Under Armour.
Right. Just give it a quick dry run.
We have these tenets of 4 keys of greatness. And that first one is make great product, which is what we've done from the beginning. Number 2 is what we do in brand, and that's tell a great story. And that includes all advertising, all marketing, all communications, but really that encompasses everything that the brand does. Everywhere there's a logo, it's brand. And that's why we call it brand instead of marketing. We're going to make sure that a brand mindset is taking control of every place that we're represented. And that's where sales comes in, providing great service and going over and above. That's where we've been able to make inroads in terms of getting a foothold into retailers or locker rooms, is just providing great service and being there to give this great product. And then, of course, number 4 is build a great team, build the best team that we can, the best and brightest people. One of the keys to branding for us has always been about creating a movement rather than just a tagline. And from that movement, you can actually have people latch on to it and adopt it and take it into their everyday lives. So we don't have to worry about writing check for check against bigger companies, trying to run our commercial more times. And then outside of that is connecting all the touch points within marketing. It's about making sure that the website lines up It's about making sure that everything in store, all the imagery there, matches up with the website and with the commercial. And then also from a PR standpoint, it's not just about sending out a release. It's more about making sure that people understand all of what is taking place, and that we're not just making a commercial about microfiber T-shirts, but we're moving people out of hundreds of years of tradition in a cotton T-shirt and into performance apparel. Now the commercial gets the most glory, and you put something on Super Bowl, and it's going to get a lot of focus and a lot of attention, and as it should. But really, it's about creating all the touch points, even to sports marketing and being on the field and making sure the players are wearing the right garments, into product placement and making sure that when you have a brand like ours, 9 times out of 10 we're saying no to where we could put our product, because we want to make sure we keep it real and authentic. And then above all, the brand group here is going to make sure we're disciplined, and that whether it's a hang tag or a Super Bowl commercial, everything in between is going to match up, look right, and have the same message points and the same type of branding and look and feel.
Alright, fellas, we started this thing, and now we're at the top. Everybody's trying to knock us off. It's us versus them. Protect this house. Man, what they doing here with that little pink shit? He's doing his work. Get him out of here. I'm cold. Who will protect this house? I will. Will you protect this house? I will. We must protect this house. I will. An Armour.
Protect This House was a mantra that we created and promoted to really support that same branding initiative, that we are the brand for this generation's athletes. So we needed to create something that had a viral element to it, that had grassroots legs. And I know it sounds crazy to say that we did that deliberately, but we deliberately sat down and thought that we could create a commercial that kids would find catchy and replicate on the field and promote our brand for us, not any individual product, but just promote the brand, promote the feeling that the brand conveys. People were really resonating towards this Big E image. We had run him in print a few times. He played football with Kevin at Maryland, Eric Abagu, and he's just full of personality. The guy looks great. He has legs for arms, and the camera loves him. So we built a team around him, basically, was the idea. We had him as the team captain, and Big E was firing him up, getting him charged for the season. The funny thing about Protect This House is when Kevin, Steve, and I were at Kevin's place, we actually wrote the script for it at Kevin's place probably 2 days before the commercial. We had the whole thing storyboarded.
We must protect this house!
We knew what the action was. We just didn't know what they were going to say yet. And we were at Kevin's place, kind of, not frantically, but kind of, back and forth trying to figure out exactly what the right words were. And we had it to, we must protect this house. And none of us were really comfortable with the must part of that. Honestly, it seems a bit old English, like who says must? I don't think I've ever used it in vernacular, but it seemed to fit the tagline. So we stuck with it. And on the way home, I was listening to DMX, actually, in my car. And he had a line where he was like, where my dogs at? And the way he said it just had a grip to it. And so I called Eric Abagu from my phone, and I told him, I said, your line is, we must protect this house, and I think you should probably check out DMX for some inspiration. And so that's really where the we must protect this house came from. It was written in Kevin's living room and then inspired by DMX delivery. The interesting thing about these taglines is that it's not really scientific. And click-clack's a great example. We were entering the cleat market, and we were like, how do you glamorize cleats? What is sexy about cleats? And so we spent a lot of time thinking about it. And the aha moment for me then was, I played football myself. I love the game. And as a team, when we'd walk from the locker room to the field, there wasn't no talking. And all you heard was the sound of 53 guys walking in their cleats. And it just went click, clack, click, clack.
Click, clack. I think here was coming.
And so that really resonated with me, and the company agreed. So that one really worked well.
It's important for us and important to the brand and vital to the brand not to put it in a situation that wouldn't be true to who we stand for, whether it's online or into a retail store. We came to a point 3 years ago where we said the images look great, the product looks great, the hang tags look great, everything looks the same, but when they put our apparel on mannequins, there's a wimpy little 5'5" mannequin with no muscles. And yet we have these guys and girls in our commercials that are true athletes. So we made our own mannequins, and we created what we call Under Armour City in the very heart of our retailers. And that showed what the product should look like and should feel like.
So we have a lot of athletes that come to us that want to be affiliated with the brand, and we say yes to a much smaller number than those that we say no to. And they need to be a good person, first and foremost. And we want to get to know that athlete and know that there's a fit there between the brand and the athlete. What product are they going to be supporting, or are they just going to be supporting the Under Armour brand? And if they're supporting a specific product, how do they fit into the overall marketing strategy? Is it going to be point of purchase? Is it going to be part of a television ad, or is it just on-field branding, whether it's viewable on television or in newspaper or magazine? And so we go down to actually thinking about, we sign Alfonso Soriano, that makes sense because we've got the partnership with the Cubs and Wrigley Field to have the first ever signage in the Ivy. And also keep in mind that our guys over on the retail side are opening up their next Under Armour full-price retail store in the Chicago market. And so it's fully integrated in terms of, number one, supporting baseball, our baseball cleats, our baseball apparel. Number two, supporting the brand initiatives. We always like to say it's not about writing checks. It's not about who has the bigger checkbook, because we're never going to win that battle. It's about being smarter and being more innovative in the deals.
Athletes play a huge role in all marketing strategies at Under Armour. First and foremost, it provides on-field authenticity. If we don't have that, we really don't have anything. The process of signing an Under Armour athlete is actually pretty interesting. It's not a one-man show in any respect. Brand marketing, sports marketing, retail, everybody's involved, right up through all our vice presidents and Kevin Plank himself, whether it's the look of the athlete, the story behind an athlete, somebody like a Patrick Willis, who just has overcome great odds to become NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. Something you always hear everybody at Under Armour talk about when we're discussing an athlete that would potentially sign to an endorsement is the Under Armour DNA. We want that guy to fit the Under Armour brand. Everything you see from us, you can look at it immediately and tell it's Under Armour, whether it's a piece of apparel, our footwear, something on the web, a print ad. Everything fits that Under Armour DNA. We look at a guy, like a Bob Sanders. Does he fit our DNA? He's, small for his position, but he's tenacious. He's fought through that underdog story just like we have, and he's a perfect mold for Under Armour. Some of the athletes that you probably recognize in a lot of our campaigns this year, Patrick Willis, NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year from the 49ers, his teammate Vernon Davis, Ray Lewis from the Baltimore Ravens, Bob Sanders. Over on the baseball side, we have the last 40-40 man, Alfonso Soriano from the Chicago Cubs, Carl Edwards chasing the championship in NASCAR this year. We have Kat Osterman, Caitlin Lowe, and Levy Young from the U.S. softball team, Timmy Meisner, who's a world champion figure skater, and Heather Mitz, who will be playing on the Olympic soccer team in Beijing as well.